welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to do something different. So in the past 2-3 months, I've been playing a lot of chess. I participated in 3 over-the-board classical tournaments back to back pretty much, and things were pretty crazy and intense with so many game recaps and a lot of things going on behind the scenes. And I thought, let's make a video talking about what is going on during such a tournament, how I feel about my play, and what has changed basically ever since. Have I improved at all? Do I already notice something from all the studying that I've done so far? So let's talk about it. So first, I participated back in March in Reykjavik Open, one of the biggest tournaments out there. I believe there were around 400 participants and they're all in one group. So that caused quite a lot of interesting stuff. So first of all, we had interesting pairings. So we did have accelerated pairings, but at some point they get removed and it's a whole mess. And basically what this means is that if you are a stronger player, you will not face a very low rated player, but a little lower rated player in the first round, let's say. And you basically are still yo-yoing around. So if you win against a low rated player, you play a high rated player, and that would be in my case a GM. And if you lose that, then you go back to your opponent that is 18, 1900 rated, and you go back and forth like this if you play according to your strength, let's say. So this basically means that in order to avoid this yo-yoing, you need to break the system. And I had a really tough time actually with that. It was pretty difficult because you either need to draw a GM or beat them, or it means you don't win against the lower rated player. And if you don't win against the lower rated player, you're screwed because for the rest of the tournament, you'll be playing someone lower rated. It's really hard to get out of there. And this is exactly what happened to me. I won my first game quite convincingly, even though I was super stressed, by the way. This was the first game in, the first tournament of like the series of games I was going to play. I had 3 tournaments lined up from that point. So I knew that, this game is important to set the tone of the tournament and my upcoming tournaments. And I was really stressed. It had a lot of pressure attached to it. So this game meant a lot to me. But in the end, I won the game and I was trying to get, I was trying to ease into the chess tournaments altogether. Anyway, so what I was going to say is that I won my first game pretty convincingly, but the second game, I lost against a GM. It was not a shocker, was, expected. Had a really good game, but now I'm playing against a lower player. And this was going on and on. I faced another GM at some point. I lost, unfortunately. And basically, ever since, I was just stuck in this kind of elo hell situation. I believe I drew 1900 at some point, and as soon as that happened, I was basically stuck. I could not get out of there anymore. I ended up drawing another 1800, I believe, but these plays were super underrated, so that made it really difficult. So in the end, I lost rating. I scored 5.5 out of 9, so it's a pretty good score. Had 4 wins, 3 draws, and only 2 losses. But I still lost rating, so that's quite depressing if you think about it. But I did have a really good experience, and this tournament was like sort of warming up, getting into it, getting back into playing actively, because I've been playing over the board classical tournaments for some time now, of course, like many, many years. But only recently I decided to actually actively play almost every single month, or at least be very active in chess altogether. Because previously, the past few years, I've only been playing Blitz online, and sometimes I'll play a tournament like 1 to maybe 3 tournaments per year, but that's not really a lot. With that, you're not really considered an active chess player, So yeah, I really want to do more than that now, and I'm determined to get better. So that requires both a lot of studying and a lot of playing in tournaments. So yeah, really good experience in Reykjavik Open after all, even though I lost rating. And it was really nice actually to have a roommate. Usually I don't really like having a roommate. Chess players are quite reserved people, especially after loss. You better not talk to them for the rest of the day. But having a roommate around, I was roommates with Alexandra Prado. She's absolutely amazing. And I really loved being around her, and just, the fact that you're around with someone, together with someone at a chess tournament, it makes it easier to deal with losses. Like, usually I can get very sad or very angry about the game that I played, but now I feel pretty relaxed. Like, okay, I lost this game terribly, or I didn't manage to win this game even though I was winning, and it really makes you feel certain emotions, very negative emotions, but now I felt pretty cool, collected, and I could easily move on, because that is so important, right? It's so important to move on quickly because the next game is already tomorrow. So mental is so important during the tournament, and also recording the recaps every single day, it kept me going, it kept me motivated, and I really enjoyed this because it kind of motivates me a lot in a really positive way. It gives a lot of positivity to my experience. Even though I had a terrible game, I can still learn from it. And basically, this sort of change in mindset helped me a lot to, I just see the games or my play altogether from a different perspective. And I try to see it as, I want to get better, I need to improve, and that means that I will still have really terrible games, and the best I can do right now is to learn from them. And I need to see the benefits from this and not the negatives. So anyway, after this tournament, I almost directly went to my next tournament. I went to Spain for the Vada Zahara Norm tournament. And this tournament is something that I prefer to forget, but at the same time, I should not, because I learned so much in this tournament. So what happened was that I am in a Norm tournament, which means that, so there's 10 players already, there's a lineup of 10 players. You already know beforehand who you're playing, and the pairings were already out like a month before the tournament, but I had no time whatsoever to prepare, which was really awful. Like, I knew months before the tournament that I was going to play. A month before the tournament, I knew the pairings, and I just did not have any time whatsoever to prepare as I should for a Norm tournament. And I really underestimated how important preparation is in these kind of tournaments. And okay, opening preparation is one thing. Preparing against the opponent is another thing. But what I noticed from this tournament altogether is that being in shape is so important. And I felt like, compared to all the other players, I did not feel like I was in shape whatsoever. I just played an over the board tournament already, like just now, but I still feel like, I'm like warming up. I still feel like I'm not ready at all. And this is like, okay, all I can do now is damage control. So I had some really tough games, and every single game was a struggle. And the worst part of all is that I had 2 games every single day. And because of that, the schedule was super taxing. So it was a shorter time control, the 90 plus 30 time control. So you don't get a half an hour added to your clock after move 40. But I was still suffering a lot. It was very difficult for me to recover, because my games, I have very long games. My games do not end on move 20. My games do not end right out of the opening or something, or we don't play the first 30 moves very quickly to then finish it with a quick draw or something. No, my games, they last super long. It lasts so long, and it basically meant that I was playing chess for 6 to 8 hours, or maybe 6 to 9 hours even, every single day. And that for 4 or 5 days in a row. I was going completely insane, and I just could not catch a break. I was coming home after let's first start with like how the schedule was like at first. So let's say I wake up, the round was in the early morning around 9 a.m. Before this, I had breakfast, and I was grabbing my stream setup stuff, and I was like 10 minutes before the start of the round already there in the playing venue, which is like 1 minute walk, but okay. Still have to like take all my stuff, set everything up, and then sit down behind a board. And then I have a game for, let's say, like 3-4 hours. So let's say 3 hours. I finish at like noon. Then I go for lunch. Then I go back to my room, and then I believe it was 4:30 that my next game would happen. So in the meantime, I will be preparing for my next game. And then after this game, let's say, I don't know, like 7-8 p.m., I would have dinner then. And then I'm back in my room and I'm like, okay, next game, preparing for next game already. The first 2 days I was recording recaps and then I gave up on it because I didn't have time for it. But then after this, I instantly have to go to sleep, wake up in the morning, and repeat. And this cycle was just driving me crazy because I had no rest. The sleep was not enough. I was not able to get enough sleep. It was really difficult to have like a strict schedule. And because my games were so long, I was just struggling altogether. And also I didn't prepare well. So I was also preparing for every single game, which caused even more waste of time, basically. And this hurt me a lot. Not just that every single game I was struggling, but towards the end of the tournament, I was literally falling asleep behind the board. I never had this before because my parents or like, people around me would always joke about my time management that, oh, like you're literally falling asleep, but once you're in time trouble, you finally wake up. But this time I was actually literally falling asleep behind a board and it was really bad. I never experienced anything like this, but the things that I was missing, there's this one game where the easiest tactic ever was missed by both of us. I was really fortunate that my opponent missed it. Otherwise, I would have lost a game that I was previously winning. But yeah, it was like a really insane game. But one of like final positions, I was completely lost because of like a one move blunder, and she missed it. And I was super fortunate because we repeated moves, she still missed it, and both of us were just like extremely exhausted. And yeah, that game is like something to never forget, something I want to forget, but I will never forget. But it's fine. I've accepted it and I just brushed it off as, this was like round 8. So round 8 out of 9. I kind of know what is going on and I've accepted my fate already. But anyway, the result that I had 2 points out of 9. I only won one game, which I was also pretty lucky to win. 2 draws, and then I had 6 losses. So I lost around 39 points, 40 points for this tournament, it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. So I had 2 points less that I should have performed, which of course pretty devastating. Like I expected better. I was ranked 8th out of 10, as I mentioned, so I cannot expect much, but this was quite a devastating performance, and I definitely can do better than this. But instead of seeing it as like a disaster tournament and something to forget, I'd like to see it as a tournament that I learned a lot from. This was such a nice experience in the sense that, Anna, you're not going to play Northern Tournament anytime soon. Bad idea. We'd rather not have this again. And if I want to play in a Norm tournament, I need to be ready. I need to be mentally, physically ready, but also in terms of chess preparation, opening wise, but also just general shape, that I'm ready to go to any end game, to understand the middle game structures better, positional play, just everything about chess really. I felt really overrated in this group of people because they seemed super well prepared and everything. So yeah, I feel like the result was super deserved, and all I can say is that, we learned from this, and I will be much better prepared next time if I go into a Norm tournament like this again. The environment was really amazing, the people were amazing, the participants were amazing, and the organizers were super amazing. But this tournament was definitely like a wake-up call for me. Like, okay, Anna, you have a big problem. You have many issues in your chess. We need to fix this. The one thing that I was really happy about was my time management. So ever since I'm like super young, I've always struggled with time management. That is one of the biggest issues ever of mine. But recently, for some reason, I'm hitting that clock faster. I'm making the move and hitting the clock faster. And I don't really know particularly how this happened. I think a certain threshold of confidence has been reached or crossed that just makes me do the moves faster, because I start to realize that, when once you're in time trouble, you don't have time to think at all. And what usually happens is that I come back in the game after being, let's say, like -2 in the opening, and somehow miraculously I come back and I have like a fighting game, but it was all in time pressure. And sometimes I'm like this close to coming back and then barely make it or not make it at all. And it gets very messy. And then I always think, like, imagine if I had like 30 minutes on the clock. Like, I would finish this game so easily or something like this. And that made me realize that maybe if I play a bit more practical, I make moves that may not be the super top best moves, but they're within the range that I'm not blundering something right away. And as long as I keep up the advantage on the clock, as long as I'm actually doing well on the clock, then maybe I can outplay my opponent at the later stage of the game. And this has really helped me a lot. I've been playing much more confidently, aggressively even. I've been pushing pawns to the king side like a maniac. And it has paid off quite well, especially against the lower players. They often didn't really know how to handle these kind of attacks on their king. And that's why I've been really feeling much more confident about the game altogether. And I guess this also helped me a lot with my time management. So yeah, with that being said, time management is super important, and I'm still trying to learn to do better, because it's always a struggle. No matter what, it will always be a struggle. You will always end up somehow in time trouble, unless you are just completely different and have a different approach to chess altogether. But I like to spend my time. I like to take it easy and make sure that I check every single move of mine that I play. Make sure that I don't blunder right away. But I'm really happy about my time management, that for sure. So yeah, with that being said, I didn't even have time to be like sad about my games. It was such a terrible tournament, but as I said, the schedule was so crazy, I didn't even have time to be upset, like, oh, how poorly I played. You just keep going. And I guess this also kind of makes me feel better in a way that, okay, like, we have to go next. Like, this game happened, we have to go next. This game that happened is in the past, we move on. And I guess that helps a lot as well. Then comes my third and last tournament of this series of tournaments in March and April, Sunway Formentera. This tournament was super special in the sense that we were on an island that was right next to Ibiza, and there were not that many participants, but the organizers were super amazing. They really took care of us well. We were able to stream our games, and they were helping us a lot with that. I was able to fortunately stream all my games in these 3 tournaments, which was absolutely amazing. Before I get into Sunway Formentera, let me explain to you that streaming my games actually helps me a lot to feel better about my games, my performance, whether it's good or bad. Because imagine if I have a good performance on stream. I mean, that's just the best feeling ever. It's just amazing. So when if I have a bad experience, like let's say I have a bad game or something, or I played poorly, of course it's horrible and I feel really devastated and all of that stuff. But at the same time, I talk about it, and it makes me feel so much better to like talk about, like what happened. After the game, I would like go on stream most of the times, whenever I was able to, and just, say hi to stream, talk about the game briefly, what happened, where did I go wrong, what could I have done better, why did I make this bad move, let's say. And it helped me a lot to kind of process the game and move on from it in a good way. It was really nice way of like distracting myself as well from, negative feelings, negative emotions. And just overall streaming makes experience so much better for me. Being able to share this journey with people all over the world, and just doing this all together just gives me so much joy and motivation. Without streaming, without filming these kind of videos or the recaps, it will be so difficult to handle the emotions that come with chess, because after a loss, you just want to shut down and not talk to anyone generally. So being more open towards the world, like, okay, like I lost this game, and kind of like talking about it and sharing feelings, it made me feel so much better during those tournaments. So um, the support is just insane as well, which is really, really amazing and appreciated. And that just keeps me going. Without the stream, this would be really difficult. And I would suffer so much more personally. So, all the efforts that I take to do these kind of things or to set up the stream, to me, are more than worth it. I wouldn't not even think twice about this. But yeah, with that being said, Sunway Formentera was super amazing experience. We were on this amazing island, super sunny and super nice views. We were in this little tent that was okay, but it was a quite big tent. But whenever it was getting really windy, it was a little bit inconvenient at times, especially with the setups that we had. The cameras were like right there where the tent was, like moving back and forth. At least the wall was moving a lot because of the wind. But anyway, the tournament was epic. So I had some really good games, also not so great ones. But in this tournament, I had the best result thus far. I drew Grandmaster rated 2560. And so far, I was not able to draw such a high rated person. The highest was something like 2540 or something. And you would say, like, okay, like draw, okay, not too crazy result, like winning, that's the result we want to hear. But the draw, what makes me feel really proud about this specific game is that the game was so insane and I was like playing like crazy stuff and it was so good. It was not just your casual opening preparation, forced draw or something, or like blunders happen. No, this was such a good game and I'm just really proud of this game. Like I don't know who I was. That day that I turned up to this game, I was completely different. I don't know what happened to me, but I was just really in the mood to have a really good game. And I could go even as far as I really want to win this game, and I didn't manage to win, and I was a little upset after the game, like, did I really not have a chance to win there? But apparently there was only one moment that my opponent was slightly better. He had like +1 or something. In the opening, I had slight advantage, but didn't really mean much. There was not like a clear win ever. But the game was just insane where I sacrificed an exchange because, well, okay, I missed that he could win the exchange, but it was all fine in the end and I managed to sacrifice in a good way. But at the same time, I then also continued to sacrifice a piece. So I was down a rook and it was still not losing. So this was just one of the craziest games of my life. And I'm just super proud of this result. So this definitely gave me a lot of confidence in the next few games, but then I just collapsed. I lost 2 games really badly in a row, and ever since the rest day, I basically wanted to go home. Like I was super exhausted from all these tournaments, all these games, and the routine, like it was really nice, but it was always getting too much, and I really missed home because I was not home for like 3-4 weeks or something. So I was really looking forward to go home already. But I still had to finish the tournament. Besides this, I also had some stream setup issues, and every single day there was like a surprise, like, oh no, I have to fix this just before the game. So that also caused a little bit of discomfort, some inconvenience, like this every single day, almost every single day. But I tried to brush it off and just accept it or move on, or have some quick fix ready to still have the stream running, but not in the greatest way or something. So yeah, it was it made it a little bit more difficult because it's not easy to actually do this just before the game. Usually as a chess player, you go to the game full focus, you don't want to talk to anyone, you don't want to see anyone, you are just there at the chessboard and focusing on the chess pieces and trying to remember your preparation. So yeah, I just really tried my best to kind of zone out still, but it was really difficult. Like 1 minute before the game, I would like start the stream or something like this and then have to run around and make sure that everything is okay. A little bit stressful, but in the end, as I said, it's completely worth it. The support that I get from streaming and the joy that I get from streaming, it's so motivating, and I would not want to give this away just because like, oh, like I need to focus on my game, you know, like all of that stuff, because without this, like I would feel even more uncomfortable at the board, like, oh no, the stream is dead, oh no, this and that. But I do try to focus on the game during the game, that if the stream dies, whatever, it is what it is. Then final point about this tournament. So the final round, I was actually competing for a women's prize. And my opponent was also competing for the women's prize. So if I beat my opponent, I would have won the women's prize. There were, I believe, 3 prizes. I would win one of them for sure then. So I was really ready to fight. It was an early round. I was really tired, but I also really wanted to win. And I tried my best. I had a really good position. And then I just completely threw it. And that was so devastating to me because I was winning rating. But if I had won this, I would have won more rating. I would have won so much prize money, and this would have been like so amazing, and you know, it's so amazing in so many different ways. And then it basically meant that, you know, after losing this game, the tournament is over. My tournament is ruined. I'm not getting any prize. I'm still winning rating, but not as much. And it was really devastating. But I could not keep those emotions for a long time, because remember, the day after this, I was flying home the same day to play the next day in the Dutch league, and I had to win that game. Fortunately, I won that game for my WGM norm. Otherwise, I would have been so devastated, because if that also goes wrong, and that too, like, I could not handle so many negative emotions at once. But I was really fortunate that the WGM norm has been achieved. And I would go as far as saying that these 3 tournaments, overall, I lost rating because Vada Zahara was a really like huge dent in my rating. But I would say all in all, these 3 tournaments gave me so much experience, so much confidence, that I just play differently. I feel like I'm playing differently. I'm playing more aggressively. I'm playing much better overall. Yes, I have my moments to like still collapse and have a bad game, bad opening, or bad whatever. But I feel like generally speaking, I see improvement. My rating is declining still. But I think these 3 tournaments are just really good altogether for the long run. And I'm aiming for the long run. I'm here for the long run. I don't want to keep this as something short term. I want to keep going and show my best chess, because I know that there is more possible. And the fact that we got the WGM norm so quickly already, like so unexpected, I'm ready to get 2 more norms in the future. I don't know when, I don't know how, but we'll see. Now, with that being said, so a lot of things happened in March and April. Now we're in May, and I am going to Sharjah Masters. I'm traveling all the way to UAE, United Arab Emirates, to play in Sharjah Masters. So there you have the Masters section, which is 2,500 plus. I'm playing in a Challengers section, which is 1,900 until 2,500. I really like that I'm in the middle of that, because it just feels nice. You're not like the lowest seed, because then if you like, it's really easy to like score a few points or like almost nothing. And if you're high seed, it's easy to lose rating. So I really like that I'm in the middle of the list. And I'm just super excited for this event altogether. It will be another classical 9-round event. Time control will be 90 plus 30. So I'm really looking forward to this tournament. I will try also to stream my games so you guys can follow along. Regardless of this, I will also be recording recaps. Every single round will be recorded. So I will try my best to share my thoughts with you about my games and continue the grind, because I am so ready to become WGM in the near future, hopefully. So yeah, that is the plan. I'm playing in Sharjah and I am super excited. There's more and many more tournaments coming up. For now, this is my next tournament, and I hope you guys support me in my journey to become Woman Grandmaster. For now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. Well, it's a pretty long video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of different type of content where I go through my thoughts and how I feel about my games. Sort of like sort of like a podcast, but not really. I don't want to call it podcast because I feel like this is not really a podcast. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought of this down below in the comments. What more you would love to see, what type of content you'd love to see. I have a lot of more things coming up as I'm playing more and more overboard games, and there's a lot to learn from my games. And besides recaps, I may think of other types of content in the future. But first, we have to focus on the tournaments, so that will come first, and we will think about other things later. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for all love and support, and I hope to see you guys in the next video from UAE. Bye guys! Hello guys, Anna from the future. I completely forgot to mention that from all the studying, what stuck the most to me was endgames. The endgames that I studied, 100 endgames you must know, and all of the things that I did for endgame studying, it really paid off. I really felt confident in endgames. One game that I was slightly concerned about, me forgetting how to defend a rook endgame, but I managed to do it, and I generally felt like I was getting the hang a bit more in endgames. I felt much more comfortable. So that was really nice. So study your endgames. It really helps and it pays off. And it was so rewarding. That feeling, amazing. I'm going to head to bed now. So good night and I'll see you in the next video.